Hello and welcome to Group Three's presentation on average. We are your average Joes here to let you know all the need to knows about average, aka mean. Mean, also known as the arithmetic average, is found by adding the values of a data set and dividing by the total number of values. What does that mean? Well, I have constructed here some random data for a young man named Jason that plays basketball. And from a 10 game stretch, I have made up some points for him, points scored, actually, points per game. That's what I mean by PPG here. And so this is our data set, this small table here. We took all of these numbers, added them together, divided them by the total number of games, total number of values, and we got 16.1. Now, this is one way to calculate the mean. Moving on, I have some screenshots here of another way to calculate the mean using Excel, which I will go into detail about here in a sec. And the second way to do it in Excel. Why is this relevant to you and I? Well, the term average is used frequently in everyday life to express an amount that is typical for a group of people or things. Averages are useful because they summarize a large amount of data into a single value and indicate that there is some variability around this single value within the original data. Kind of like putting something on a balance beam and assuming that each number are equal and that one happy medium is where this balance beam will balance out with absolutely no shifting. It's the happy medium. It's not quite the median, but it's that number that is the midway point of all of the values. Okay? So let's go over to Excel and do a little figuring. Okay? The first way that I detailed was just a simple basic way to use Excel as your calculator. I have my data set here. If I decided to auto sum all of the point totals, push enter, I get 161. But I don't quite have the average. In order to get the average, I need to go up here to my function bar, add the next function, which is to divide that number by 10, push enter, and there, I get my 16.1. Want to do it even simpler than that? Let's erase this entire function and start anew. Using the equal sign and beginning
We can't
to
see your
write
Excel.
the word average. What?
We can't see your Excel. You're only sharing your PowerPoint.
Oh no, I thought that it would share my whole screen. Okay.
It does this thing where it only selects the windows.
Small technical difficulty, guys. All right. Sharing Excel. So I'll start over. The easy way, let's use Excel as our calculator. We'll auto sum this entire set of data, get our 161, that's the total. That's not quite the average. So let's click in this box where our function was first established. We'll add the additional math method, which is to divide it by 10 up here in our function bar. Push enter, and we get our average, ladies and gentlemen. Second way, which I screenshotted in detail. If you put an equal sign and begin to write the word average, spell it correctly, not like I did. Double click. It's going to ask you to highlight what you're actually wanting the average of. And it's these numbers here, right? So, highlight those. Push enter to tell it what to do. And there it is, 16.1. 16.1. Easy, easy, easy. Now, that is calculating the average for a simple data set. I'm now passing the torch on to Erica to help you learn how to find the average for group data, which is a little bit different. So enjoy.
Okay, thank you so much, Jamisha. That was really good. I am here to show you how to calculate and interpret the mean of group data. A quick reminder over in the corner, the mean is an average of a valued set. I think we learned that from Jamisha. Okay, keeping with our average Joe theme here, we have White Goodman over here. It's part of our dodgeball actor here. And he's going to tell us how to interpret the mean for group data. You can see he's reading out of Benzie's quantitative lit book. And he says, according to this lame book, there's only 4 steps to finding the mean of group data. And here's the steps right here. Find the midpoint. Let's see. Find the midpoint of each class in the group data. Multiply the frequency for each class by the midpoint of that class. Step 3, add up all the products from step 2. And step 4, divide the sum of all the frequencies, which is the total number of data values. Some people are formula people. I'm not one of those people. But here is the formula for finding the data that we need. So I'm excited because we can use a calculator now. Add, multiply, divide, using a calculator. And so I said, hey, I can use my calculator. But Miss Benzie says no. And this is Miss Benzie over here in the corner, mean mugging me for using the calculator. And mean, this is Benzie's face when her class uses a calculator instead of Excel to find the data. Thought I would throw that in for you, Miss Benzie. But then we have some spirit fingers. They're finally understanding. They're seeing Benzie's light. And we're using the grouped mean. We're trying to find the average here. And you look over to the left, we're trying to find out for all the coffee drinkers about cappuccinos. And then here is, when you fill in all the data, here's what we find. See, I think there's 10. Scroll down a little bit. I was having technical difficulties earlier, so this is how I'm having to do this, by scrolling. You can look here and see 0 to 3 cappuccinos, the frequency is 2. How you find the midpoint is you divide, and then you multiply your frequency times the midpoint, and that gets your answer. So the mean average down here, once you total everything, the 171 by 18, you get 10 cappuccinos per hour. But over here, as Jamisha has already showed us, we can use the average button in Excel. And we can find the average of test scores, the average of coffee drinkers, the average of ball players, anything by using Excel. And we don't have to use a calculator. It calculates everything at one time, which is pretty awesome. And so Wyatt Goodman and his team is up here saying spirit fingers. So now we know how to use technology to help find the answers, and Wyatt's all happy now. We can use Google, which I have. I have used YouTube and Excel to learn about this and how to find the average with group data. Now I'm going to hand this over to Xander, who will finish it up and talk about weighted grades.
You want to know a concept that sounds practically dystopian? Being measured for your worth based on an arbitrary set of rules and numbers, and having your entire life depending on that. And you know what I'm going to teach you what to do? I'm going to teach you how to measure your worth based on an arbitrary set of rules. School is a lot of fun. Okay, so weighted grades are very simple, especially in college. In high school, it's a lot worse. And so I'm going to teach you both ways to do it using extremely handy-dandy little resources that we have. The first being Excel, where I'll teach you how to measure the weighted grades in college. First, you got to make a graph. Miss Benzie made this for me. She just sat down and she made the entire thing for me. Very nice of her. So she made hers based on the weighted grade for her own classroom, which is how most teachers tend to weight their grades. The categories being homework, the port, I can't even remember what that is. Oh my God. The presentation, the Excel, and then the final test, and then of course the total. And the weight, of course, the weights also all have to equal up to 100%. And so the weight of each category is 10%, 25, 25, 25, and 15. And then you have your score, which is for each category based out of 100%, in this case being 80, 70, 80, 95, and 70. And so the total over here, you see, would be B2 times C2, which is 10 times 80, which would be 8%. And that's it. That's how you find the weight for that class, that portion of the class. And then you add all of them up and you get your grade for that class. It's really as simple as that. And then this is another graph that shows the same concept. And I'm gonna stop sharing. And then I'm gonna open up my second thing. Not playing this game. And then I'm gonna share again. Share again, there we go. Oh God, what did I click? Okay, here it is. This is the calculator for high school GPA, which is a completely different ballpark. It doesn't go by percentages, it goes by numerical grades versus in retrospect to letter grades. Stupid. Okay. So say that this is math. Hysterectomy and English. And you've got your certain grades in each one. Say, yeah, I've already got it down here. You've got a B+, you got an F in biology because you suck. And you got a C and you got an A+. And the credits for math, they're going to be a bit weightier. Math and English are going to be weightier than the other two. And these are just, very common classes, not going to have any extracurriculars. This is just a straightforward, unrealistic high school schedule. And we're not going to even worry about that. That was an entirely different spike in the ballpark. And so if you get these with these credits, your GPA will be 2.7, which isn't good. It's really bad. Because these numbers equal a letter grade, and a 2.7 is, I believe, a C+. And of course, me changing that changed the GPA because I was just trying to make a point, but now you have a slightly better GPA, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's easy to do. It's just a case of finding the mean. You know, you add all of it up, you take the frequencies of each. The frequencies are the credits, as you can see. And then you add all of that up and divide it by the amount. You know, you just find the mean, and then boom, you've got your cumulative. But that's high school. This is college. We're in college. And this is way easier than that. Thank you. Let's all get A's together. Oh, I know how to work this. I'll get it eventually.